Hey everybody, I'm John Elliott Churchville and I am excited to share with you a subject that can be life-changing for you. Change your mindset before you set your goals for next year. My purpose is twofold. First, to add value to you by giving you some very practical information that will help you develop and execute a plan to improve your overall results in the next year. And second, to share how you can communicate effectively with people by changing your mindset from outside in and downside up to inside out and upside down. I also want to convince you of two things if you're not already convinced. First, that we're all leaders in one way or another. And second, that leadership itself comes down to one and only one thing: influence. Leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. And influence depends on our ability to connect with people. Without connection, there is no leadership. And without influence, there is no leadership. So in 1960, when I was 19 years old, I joined the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee and worked with them for 3 years on voter registration in Southwest Georgia. And I taught literacy in the Mississippi Delta. Weary from outrunning Ku Klux Klan members who were forever chasing me, I returned to my native Philadelphia and began working with teenage gangs, which was a clearly much safer occupation. I had negotiated a peace treaty between two rival gangs in Americus, Georgia, and I felt very confident that I'd be able to do the very same thing in Philadelphia. While working separately with Bernard and James, the two rival gang leaders, I believed I had built great rapport with James, and so I took him under my wing. I didn't feel the same way about Bernard. I couldn't figure out how to connect with him at all, so I didn't try. So when the two gangs finally got to the negotiating table, you can imagine how shocked out of my shoes I was when Bernard stated that he was fully prepared to sign the peace accord. But what you can't imagine is how deflated as a ripped hot air balloon I was when James, whom I had taken under my wing, refused to sign. And when he refused, the two gangs started throwing chairs at each other. Well, when I was finally able to restore order and Bernard and his lieutenants had left, I asked James point blank why he refused to sign the peace deal. James looked me squarely in my eyes and said, "John, if I stopped gang warring, I'd have no reason to live. Gang warring is my life." Well, I was dumbfounded. For the first time, it hit me that I had never cared enough about James to ask him anything about his life. I was a salesman too hell-bent on getting him to buy my peace deal product to care about what he wanted. But my change of heart came too late. The very next day, James was dead. Executed, gangland style. 2 bullets to the back of his head at close range. My failure to connect with James because I didn't have a mindset that was inside out and upside down stood between me and my ability to broker a peace agreement that would have benefited hundreds of North Philadelphia community residents. By the way, there's only one thing that stands between you and greater success in your personal and professional life. It certainly isn't knowledge or experience, talent, or even wisdom. It's your ability to change your mindset from outside in and downside up to inside out and upside down, and connect with people from that level of awareness. So this leads me to define the outside in and downside up mindset and contrast it with the inside out and upside down mindset. The outside in and downside up mindset is based on the past and your paradigm. It focuses on tradition and preservation and feeds on your fear of losing something. The inside out and upside down mindset is based on the future and your potential. It focuses on creativity and innovation and feeds on your faith of gaining something. Like it or not, you need people. You can't do anything on your own in today's world economy. You need to be able to connect with and influence other people in a positive way in order to succeed in the marketplace. And here's some tough love that I hope you can handle. The friction that you are currently experiencing in your life right now, at home, at work, and sometimes even at play, that friction is proof that you need to grow in 3 critical areas: leadership, influence, and resetting your mindset to inside out, upside down. And everything I'm talking about is absolutely 100% a teachable skill, which means you can learn to lead. You can learn to improve your ability to influence people by changing the way you think from outside in and downside up to inside out and upside down, if you want to. And the reason that learning to connect with people using the inside out, upside down mindset can make such a difference to your results, to all your results, is that it's such a neglected skill. Most people don't care about developing the ability to connect with people, either because they don't see it as a skill or they don't see it as important. They focus on getting the business deal done rather than focusing on building long-lasting relationships with the client or customer. And because they don't give it any thought, it's outside of their awareness. They're not conscious of the negative impact that their lack of connecting ability has on their results and on themselves. And this probably wouldn't be such a problem if people weren't so emotional. Human beings are emotional creatures at heart. We have an intellect, yes, and we kid ourselves that we are rational, logical human beings, but that's a facade. We're emotional creatures. And emotions rule not only our lives, but the lives of our customers and our clients. And because emotions rule our lives, we don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are, outside in and downside up. Let me give you an example of what I mean by saying that we see the world as we are. 3 people can see the same event taking place. Imagine this scene in your mind, okay? A man, and this is all you're going to get, a man in a business suit is running with a woman's purse in his hand. And a shabbily dressed woman in the same scene is running and screaming. Now, one person will interpret that scene as a nice businessman running to return a purse that has been stolen from a poor woman. Another will see it as a well-dressed thief running away after snatching the purse from the woman and mugging her in the process of his crime. Still another will see it as a man and a woman simply running to catch a bus. You get the point. Depending on where our own individual heads are when we experience anything, We add facts to the situation and create a story for ourselves that fits our personal reality. This is the perfect example of how the outside in and downside up mindset works. So if the event is the same, then the difference must be in the individuals and their perception of that event, right? There is something different that's happened to the average adult that changes the way they see things. And that difference is called psychological conditioning. We all see the world differently. The simple example that I just used illustrates that powerful point. We're all different. We have different beliefs, different values, and different things are important to us. We all have different passions, expectations, and tolerance levels. And to ignore these differences when trying to connect with people is to miss the whole point of connecting. So if you want to connect with someone, you've got to go to them. You must go first to where they are, and you need to connect on common ground. Well, so where is this common ground? At the point where their beliefs and yours intersect. That's common ground. Hey, you like football? So do I. You've got grandkids? So do I. You can connect with them there and then take them wherever you want them to go. But if you don't connect with people somewhere, they won't go anywhere with you. Now, I'm going to be straight with you. It takes energy, lots of energy, to change your mindset from outside in and downside up to inside out and upside down in order to connect with people. There's a personal investment that's required. But that's true of anything that's worthwhile in life, isn't it? You gotta sow something if you expect to reap something. You've gotta plant something if you intend to harvest it. And so I've got to talk to you now about the mind and how it works. Then I'll tackle this notion of inside out and upside down more specifically. And finally, I'll talk to you about how I can guarantee that if you use the inside out, upside down approach that I'm sharing with you to do your annual goal setting, you'll be surprised at what your results will be. As you know, the mind has two parts, conscious and unconscious. Your conscious mind has the ability to accept or reject what is presented to it, but your unconscious mind has no such ability. Your unconscious mind must accept everything that is put into it. And although your conscious mind can tell the difference between fact and fiction, your unconscious cannot. This difference in the way your unconscious works is the secret that can take you from a minus bank account to a 6 or 7 figure income in less time than you can now imagine. Your paradigm that is in your unconscious controls everything you do. It decides your likes and your dislikes, your fears, what you can and won't do, and it keeps you from making any significant changes to your habits. A paradigm is a multitude of habits that belong to other people but have been passed on to you by your parents through family history, DNA, and through inculcation into your unconscious while you were a child. Your paradigm limits your growth by resisting any change to your old habits of thinking and behaving. But its major detriment is that it holds the self-image that you have of yourself, which was created by someone who had complete access to your unconscious and implanted negative narratives about who you are and what you can achieve in the world. Carl Jung, psychiatrist, psychoanalyst, and in fact the founder of analytical psychology, was right when he said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." One telltale sign that shows the level of negative narratives that may have been inculcated into you when you were a child or afterwards if you suffered physical, mental, or social abuse is a lack of self-confidence. Your lack of self-confidence is proof that negative narratives about you were implanted into your unconscious. Self-confidence is essential to your ability to be successful in business and in life. People who lack self-confidence learned to lack it from people who placed negative narratives about them in their unconscious. But here's the good news. Ready? Self-confidence can be learned, but only by increasing your awareness. Awareness is everything. And the place to begin in order to increase your awareness is to understand some basic laws of reciprocity. So let's begin with the first law of reciprocity. The law of wealth from birth. This is critical. The law of wealth from birth teaches that God equipped you at birth with all the wealth you will ever need. And what is this wealth? It's your power and ability to possess and control your own mind and direct it to your own ends. Everything you will ever need to be successful in life and in growing your business to the point of wealth is already within you. Not only do you have a mandate from God to be productive, but also you have the gift given to you at birth. What gift? The power to possess and control your own mind and direct it to your own ends. Now, in this case, your own ends means that you've determined to prosper in the business you have chosen. A business that transforms your natural and spiritual gifts, training, and experience into marketable goods and services. The next basic law of reciprocity that I must discuss is the law of self-discipline. This is critical. The law of self-discipline teaches that you must take full and complete responsibility for controlling your thoughts, words, and behaviors. What you habitually think determines what you will habitually speak. What you habitually speak determines what you will habitually do, how you'll behave. How you habitually behave determines the results you get in your life. The law of self-discipline teaches that you must concentrate on your definite purpose as the central focus of your life, waking and sleeping. You must keep your mind so focused on your definite purpose that it does not give way to distractions or disappointment. You must persevere with patience and persistence over long periods of time. It won't happen overnight. The law of self-discipline requires that you become so obsessed with your definite purpose that you give up all else until you achieve it. It requires that you put all your eggs in one basket in order to achieve the definite purpose of your life. This means you must think only those thoughts, speak only those words, and engage only in those behaviors that will take you straight to the achievement of your definite purpose. The challenge before you now is to change your present paradigm by replacing it with the new narrative about who you are now. The key to changing your paradigm rests in increasing your awareness. Now, there are 7 levels of awareness. The first of which is animal instinct. You know about this. At this level of awareness, you react to outside stimuli by either fight or flight without thinking at all. This is how you behaved as a child. This is not how you should be behaving now. The second level of awareness is following the masses and your own paradigm, those habits of other people that were placed into your unconscious. As you grew in childhood, you began to follow the fads and fashions around you by modeling the behavior of the majority of people whom you observed. That is normal behavior for a child who's growing through that particular following stage of development. But it is not normal behavior for the self-directed person that you are now becoming. The third level of awareness is when you decide to stop following the masses and you begin to aspire for something more in your life, more than just the everyday same grind and boredom of just living someone else's dream. The fourth level of awareness is when you begin to express yourself as an individual who is not controlled by the behaviors, beliefs, and attitudes of the masses. This is where you begin to see and express your uniqueness, your difference, what sets you apart from others. The fifth level of awareness is when you realize that to be different is to decide to discipline yourself. This is where you give yourself a command and then you follow it. The sixth level of awareness is the experience you gain from when you discipline yourself. And this is where you notice that your changed thinking and behaviors get you different and better results. Finally, the seventh level of awareness is self-mastery, where you no longer react to outside stimuli. Rather, you respond to it by thinking and planning. Now it's time for me to move on and connect the notion of inside out, upside down, to how you will set your goals for next year. Most people approach goal setting by looking at the past and making projections about the future. If they earned X amount of money last year, they pick a certain percentage and they figure out how much more based on that number last year they want to earn in the coming year. Now, the problem with using this outside-in method is that you're tethered to the past and you never get a chance to use your potential for what is in your future. When you base your future earnings on past results, you forfeit the opportunity to do what you've never done before in order to get the results you've never had before. The inside-out approach to goal setting begins with your answering just one question. What do I want? Now, for many people, this is a hard question. It's hard because they think about what other people, their friends, their family, their significant others want them to be, do, or have. An inside-out mindset disregards what others expect of you and dares to state what you want. Allow yourself the freedom to think well beyond what you believe is possible for you right now. Dream out loud. What if you could earn in 3 months what you earned all of this year? What if you could earn that same amount in 1 month, 1 week, 1 day, 1 hour? This kind of thinking is inside-out, future-based thinking. The inside-out mindset is strictly future-based. It begins with acknowledging your deepest desires to gain wealth for yourself and your family. Then, in very practical terms, this means that you would choose a financial goal that you want to achieve in the next year without asking yourself how you will attain that goal. It's the how question that keeps you from earning money to the level of your potential. Then you move to assessing where you are right now. Well, that's pretty easy. You know, what's in your bank account and whatever your investments are minus the stuff you owe is where you are. That's real easy to find out. That's where you are right now. And then the next step is to think upside down. Now, at this point, most people consider where they are, and then they try to figure out how they will get up to their financial goal. The upside down approach gets you to focus on your financial goal and to concentrate on what you would feel like if you had already attained that goal. And so the upside down approach puts you in the position you'd like to be in and asks you to enjoy what it feels like. You emotionalize that, what you want. And the whole point of this is to embed the feeling in your unconscious by concentrating on the feeling with your conscious mind and then bringing it into your emotions. From a psychological perspective, you're not reaching up to a financial goal. You are looking down on the financial goal to where you are now. And it's from this upside down perspective that you'll be able to see exactly how you got to your goal. As I said before, it takes lots of energy to change your mindset from outside in and downside up to inside out and upside down in order to connect with people and do what you need to do. So I don't expect you to walk away from this video knowing how to master the inside out, upside down mindset. But I do want you to walk away imagining what a deeper dive into this whole area would be in a private coaching session. What would happen to you if you took a deeper dive into your goal setting from an inside out, upside down mindset? What would unlocking and using more of your potential do for your personal growth and professional results? So here's my offer. If you contact me via email at jchurchville8@gmail.com and I send you some materials and you send them back to me, I will give you a free 1-hour coaching session in which I will help you develop your goals for next year using the inside out, upside down mindset. I sincerely hope that this session has added value to you. My name is John Elliott Churchville, and I'm a certified speaker, teacher, trainer, DISC behavioral analysis consultant, and coach with the John Maxwell team.